Hi, I want to read some classic books. I have a few in mind. Um, they're here on my bookshelf, which is small, but that's what I have. So I want to read some of the classic books, and there I have a hard time with classics. I read a few books, and some I enjoyed, some I didn't. Some I DNF'd. I have a few books in mind that I would like to read, and hopefully I'll be able to read all of them in 2 days. I have 3 or 4 in mind. So the books I wanna read in this video are gonna be uh, we wait We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Charlotte Jackson. Shirley, this one. Stepford's Wives by Ira Levine. How does it even? I'm gonna call him Levin because maybe Levin. There is no, like it's written in Russian. And Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. And these are the books I'm excited to read and want to read in this video, but I also want to read of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck instead of Slaughterhouse 5 maybe, or I'm going to be able to do 4 of them. And just for extra time, or if I have a mood change, I have a few books in mind as well. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I tried to read this book once, but I managed to read like maybe 20 pages and realized I wasn't in the mood for this book, so I put it aside for some time. I also have Fyodor Dostoevsky, which is a Russian author. I have 2 books written by him, and they are, I'm gonna sit down. Books is Crime and Punishment, which is almost 700 pages, and it's gonna take a long time for me to read. And the other one, Insulted and Humiliated and Insulted, which is also a long book. It's like 500 pages, and it's also gonna take a long time for me to read. And it's not for this video, but maybe I'll be in the mood to read one of those books. I haven't read anything by Dostoevsky. Yes, I'm from Russia and I live in Russia. I want to read. I've been meaning to read his most famous book, which is The Idiot. I don't have it physically, and I haven't read it, not even in school. So maybe there's gonna be, oh, I might do a Dostoevsky related video. I think I'm gonna start with We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Yeah, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Charlotte Jackson. It says on the back of the book that it's like a psychological thriller, and when it was written actually? Does it say? In 1962, a psychological thriller from 1962. And it says it's just some mysterious death in the family, and that I guess 2 sisters move back to their like home, to the castle or just some mansion or just a house that they used to live there, and they move back. And there are some mysterious deaths of their relatives are involved. So Let's see. Was the next day. I finished reading We Have Always Lived in the Castle. It took me 3 hours and 40 minutes. The book is 250 pages, so almost 4 hours. Um, I enjoyed the story. It's quite odd and interesting. I like the characters, and I was wrong reading the description of the book. I assume that two sisters come back to their like childhood home, but no, they have always lived there. They were tragic after some tragedy that happened in their family. They were hiding in the house, especially an old sister. Uh, the young sister, her name is Mary Catherine, were going into town for groceries like once a week, and she was facing lots of hatred from people living in the town. The whole town hates their family, Blackwood family, because of this tragedy. At first, you think their hatred is based on envy that the Blackwood family is rich, at least have lots of money, so the sisters could hide in the house, not work, not do anything, just live off the uh, inheritance they got from their family. I enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect actually. I wouldn't say it's a thriller, it's mostly like a drama. It's just about the lives of two sisters, what they're going through, and one day their cousin knocks on the door and it interrupts their lives. I would give it like 4.5 stars. There's nothing crazy about this book, but it's good. Uh, yes, it's interesting. It's easy to read, it's fast paced. The characters are likable. Everything just goes smoothly, and the writing style is nice and it's easier to read. So yeah, I recommend. It's one of the classic books that it's not hard to read. So I decided to read John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. All I know, it should be hard. I'm on page 100 of Mice and Men, and I enjoy it so far. It's only 45 pages left. I don't know where the story goes. So far, it's the story about two friends, I guess. There's no explanation of the base of their relationship, but they are not relatives. This is a story about two men, Lenny and George. George is a kind of smart one, and Lenny isn't very bright. He's like a kid. I don't know how old he is, but He acts like a kid, and George looks after him. And Lenny, I would say, worships George and does everything that George would tell him to do, because Lenny can't think for himself and he wouldn't be able to get through life without some guidance. So George looks after him, and Lenny is strong. He's, based on the description, he's like huge. He's strong, but he's not very bright. It's mostly about their life at the range where they work and dreaming about their own range, that they would own it someday. And thinking about that, George Lenny likes to listen about their future. George would tell him how it's gonna be when they get how it's gonna be someday when they own their own range. They would have animals, rabbits, and Lenny is especially excited about having rabbits. I like Lenny. George isn't very likable. Even though he looks after Lenny, but sometimes he manipulates Lenny, because Lenny does everything that George tells him to do. Yeah, something terrible happens, unfortunately. This is a sad one. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. This was sad. Snack time. And then I'm starting Stepford Wives. The Stepford Wives is 220 pages. So hopefully it'll take me less than 3 hours, but probably 3 hours. Mice and Men took me 2 hours to read, and it was 145 pages. So I hope to get through Stepford's Wives pretty quickly, so I'd be able to read Slaughterhouse 5. So I finished reading The Stepford Wives. It took me 3 hours to read, as I expected. Well, I would give this book 3.5. It was interesting, but the Rosemary's Baby I like more. It was more fun. But this book isn't supposed to be fun. It was just I think I'm just tired. and maybe this book is a 4. I don't know. I actually didn't give my rating for the book of Mice and Men. Of Mice and Men is 4 stars, and it's actually a short story, I guess, because it's just 145 pages. The Stepford Wives is 220 pages. This is the book about a couple who moves to a new town, which is called Stepford, and they're so modern. They support feminism, and then they notice that wives in this town act weird. They're all I'd say fanatic housewives. They don't leave their houses, they don't get together, they always clean, cook, whatever. They they are like robots, and it scares the main character. And in this town they have only like one association, and this association they have a men's association. I'm gonna call it a club. Men's club. No women's club, and at this men's club they talk about all of the changes the town needs, all the important stuff, and it surprises the main character. Her name is Joan. Yes, John or Joanna, I guess Joan. That there is no no woman in this club. Like it's only for men, and women that and women don't have a say in these changes. That everything depends on men. So she tries to change this and tries to organize a women's club. So she goes door to door asking those housewives to join her, and they're like, no, I'm busy. I'm cleaning my house. Um, so everything seems weird. I enjoyed it, even though it's 3.5, but it's probably because I'm tired, and that the other book by this author, and that I liked more the other book by this author, which is Rosemary's Baby. um, but still, it's good.